This is the Idavox Report.
Bible verse. It is noble to seek the office of overseer. However, he who does should be above reproach, sober-minded, not quarrelsome, only married once, and not a great lover of money. And will you take a flower for peace?
I was a little worried there because I didn't think that I for those who don't know, I kind of like lost connection here for a minute, but I'm here. Hi.
Hey. Sounds like the difficulties usually felt up in here, but we're good tonight.
Well, it's going to be a crazy day, crazy episode. What a way to end the podcast for those who don't know. But I'm Daryle Lamont Jenkins, and over there is Brian Powers. He disappeared on me. He's going to the bathroom. And just below me is Christian Perez.
Hey.
Who is being very festive in the background.
Yeah, it's at my parents' house. My mom loves the Christmas tree, so it's the best background I could get. Merry Christmas to everyone.
I was getting my charger for my laptop, so I continue to be with the show because that's serious.
And I want to wish everybody a nice, happy holidays and Merry Christmas if you're well, it's not even Christmas yet, but for those who celebrate holidays and all that, yeah. Hi. We wanted to start off with Rob Weber's and Lauren Pespiza's documentary that I'm also a producer on, and I also am going to be featured in, called 2020 The Dumpster Fire. Just to remind everybody that you will be able to see it this week, as a matter of fact. I'm actually going to the premiere up in Boston this Friday, and it's going to be a good time will be had by all. I understand that they actually did show this documentary in Pelham, New York, and they sold out the theater.
Oh wow!
So I'm really happy about that. And for those of you who will not be able to go to the theater to check it out, it is going to be on Apple Plus, and it will debut on VOD, video on demand. On y'all, I hope y'all sitting down. It will debut on video on demand on January 6th.
There it is.
We did not choose this date.
That date sounds familiar. Wasn't there a party in the park or something that day that was gone awry?
All I know is it was a riot.
I guess that's a good place to start our year in review. But we're not there. We got to talk about the current.
We're not going to do that because we got to because I'm segueing from January 6th into the alleged perpetrators of January 6th because we have breaking news. For those who you don't know, and I'm quite sure you don't because this just happened maybe about an hour ago. I got a phone call from somebody just about a half hour ago to let me know the Proud Boys, some members of the Proud Boys showed up at the city council meeting of in Woodbridge, New Jersey. This is the second time that they showed up there, and they did say they will be back to the next when the city council convenes again. Now that we're saying that, now that we are declaring that, now that I put that all over Twitter just now, they're not gonna come along because we gonna join them. I'm guessing that there will be a good number of people who really don't want Proud Boys in their neighborhood trying to stir shit up, especially not in New Jersey. So we're gonna have more information about that. Matter of fact, we got video of them tonight. This is what this is what I'm talking about right now. If it will show up, how do we do this? Leah, could you help me with this here? I want to try to show this video.
I hate you.
Because guess what? They're gonna go to school. They're gonna take care of freedom. How the you don't know.
Proud Boys, that's Woodbridge City Council meeting. They about to go in the meeting too. We stand up and they're out here. Proud Boys, white supremacists.
Guess what? Minorities and fucking communists and socialists built the middle class. They built your union jobs. They built unions.
Listen.
Everything in this fucking country was built on the back of
your dad's probably a white supremacist. We know y'all was there on January 6th at the Capitol.
Conservative bullshit didn't do anything but keep the rich rich.
Over here from Europe and have their name on the wall on Ellis Island.
The fuck?
Assimilated to this country.
No. Let me tell you what your ancestors did. Your ancestors was there on January 6th at the Capitol. White supremacists.
You know what?
White supremacists.
No.
Nasty as hell.
Yeah, this is only a minute long. I didn't want to give you the whole thing. They did go in and speak. The one guy that actually gave his name, well, some of them were sitting in, most of them were sitting in the in the galley, just sitting there listening to everybody. I still don't know why they showed up or why they are showing up at the Woodbridge City Council meetings. But I do know I'm about to find all of that out. I'm about to listen to what the one Proud Boy named who calls himself Bert. By the way, you're speaking at a city council meeting. You have no business being anonymous. You're not going by aliases. You're not going by first names. I know that when you talk to a city council, you're supposed to give your name and your address.
Yeah.
And you are not going to be allowed to not do that. I'm sorry.
So we don't know what the issue. We don't know what the issue was yet that they were showing up for. But I mean, this is my town. People, I don't know if people know that I lived in Woodbridge, New Jersey, for 14 years before I escaped to the woods here, and I didn't do a lot of activism in the town, although I dealt with them a little bit. But the reaction leading up to the Black Lives Matter movement. The city council is heavy with cops and police influenced people. One of the councilmen, my city councilman, Corey something, I can't remember his last name, but after there was the beating death of several people in prison, was posting pictures of prison guards and supporting the prison guards who had murdered prisoners. The city council is as right wing as they come, but of course, as usual, it's okay because they're Democrats, and they're as conservative and business oriented as any Republican you'll ever meet. And I met the mayor one time, this guy John McCormick, and I came up to him and I mentioned to him, I says, he said something. I was running a T-shirt business at the time. And he said, I said, well, I don't really want to sell T-shirts to Democrats. And he goes, oh, that's okay. I'm more like a Republican anyway, thinking that I was a Republican, right? Thinking that I was coming at him from like the right perspective. And I looked at him and I said, no, man, I'm the other way. I'm a communist. And he turned white as a ghost and almost fell over and then just promptly ran away from me. But that's the kind of politician that runs a lot of towns in New Jersey. It's not just Woodbridge, but complete phonies to the point of where, hey, listen, if I think the media, I'm just going to straight up tell you I'm like a Republican. And it's his exact words to me, where I'm more like a Republican. So it doesn't matter that the Democrats know, because I'm telling you right now, there are people on that city council, and I can't name names and have proof or do good journalism on this, but they're happy as hell that the Proud Boys are there because they're fucking pigs too. And I'm not, unfortunately, another thing that I'm not surprised, but my former hometown continues to go downhill, man. And this is just, I'm disgusted by what I saw in that video. I'm disgusted by seeing those people. I know that place. I sat on those steps. I bought my kids candy bars at the Quick Check right in the background there. It's gross. That's gross to me.
You got to bear with me because this is all real time right now. I thought we were going to be talking about the year end and we were going to say goodbye. We're still going to do that, even if we have to go long. But,
well, how did you find out about it, Darryl? How did they get in touch with you? Because you really are the go-to guy in Jersey.
I got a call from somebody in Black Lives Matter who hit me up and told me what was going down. And and they told me, yo, they came out. This like the second time they've come out. They said they'll be back. So we're coming to the next meeting. I mean, so the thing is, and I'm multitasking here. I'm trying to keep an eye on my phone here. That somebody just tried to call me. I can't look at it right now, obviously. I'm getting okay. Yeah, people are already planning for showing up next time.
All right.
So now the question is, will the Proud Boys really show up now? Because they lit this fucking fire. So the one thing Proud Boys do not do ever is fight black people. Ever. Ever.
What's the reason for that?
About being a multiracial group and all of that. They'll go mess with some with white kids or something like that, who they want to call Antifa, or some guy that just happens to be on the peripheral of whomever they're pissed off at. But they ain't fucking with black people. They will not swing on any of us. It's pretty much a general rule at this point. So I want to see if they'll show up now that they ticked us off.
Is it a specific tactic of theirs? Like they don't want to be seen fighting black people? Is it because they're trying so hard to like get people to think that they're not racist? I mean, because from what I've seen about the Proud Boys,
yeah, I don't think it's necessarily something that's in the rule book. I just think it's just something that they don't do by default, and they're damn sure not going to do it here in New Jersey, because one of those knuckleheads lives in East Orange. They'll go to his house in East Orange if something goes down. So, and I'm not mentioning his name just for because I have his stage name and I can't remember his real name right now. And I'd rather say his real name. But the truth of the matter is, this is also I was just dealing with somebody. I deal with Woodbridge a lot. I work in Rahway, and which is nearby. And it's funny because just a couple of days ago, there was another video that I can't put up right now. Another video of, they're selling Trump gear over at the nearby Walmart. And there was a flag that they were selling with the Trump gear that was half American flag, half Confederate flag. So the guy called them out on it. And this is the part that I really want to put on Twitter, but I haven't done it yet. The guy who he was arguing with told him that they fought the North. The South fought the North in order to end slavery.
What?
He's telling this to a school teacher, by the way. He's saying this to a school teacher.
I mean, but that's the level of ignorance that you're dealing with these people. They don't live in the real world.
No. And the guys with the Trump truck aren't even from Woodbridge. They aren't from Woodbridge.
Grifters.
Yeah, so I mean, and but we could talk about that. Plus, there was also some other things that was going on over the past couple of weeks involving me. I had to deal with White Lives Matter in Princeton.
God. Yeah, we got to follow
going around. Be right back.
So you had run into them, from what I remember. You had run into them posting stickers. One of the gentlemen, I believe that the authorities ran into them in Metuchen, was it? Did they?
Well, these are actually the stickers that they were putting up, yeah. And when we saw them, we confronted them. I actually have that video somewhere around here. I mean, I actually edited up a video. I'll look for it and post it right quick if we want. If we have time, we're gonna have time because we're gonna go long. But they got but we confronted them. We caused them some grief. Was not in the video because I was pretty much arguing with them at the point. There was this dude who called himself Jacob, who tried to pretty much just sucker punch me. I thought he grabbed my face. This kid's a little slip of a dude, So I thought he just grabbed my face. But then I realized just as quickly that he threw a punch. So I put him in a headlock.
Where did this happen? This happened in Princeton?
This happened in Princeton. This happened in Princeton on November 20th. And then they all started. So they left. They tried to cause some grief to some other people that I was with. I guess it was part of some sort of effort to try to just put all these stickers all over the place around New Jersey, because they tried it again in Somerville, which is about a half hour away from Princeton.
I like how they're going to these really black towns in New Jersey and putting up those white lives matter.
Yeah, the blackest of black towns. If anybody, y'all know Princeton, if y'all familiar with the name Princeton, you know that it's not the blackest of black towns.
Yeah, they're not going to Irvington, they're not going to Newark, they're not going to Camden.
No,
you know, they're going to like these lily white towns where they think they can get away with it.
And the funny thing about that one is that when they showed up in Somerville. They got snatched up because the police saw them doing it and just picked them up. And we found out because we were right behind them, or at least some folks from my crew were right behind them, and basically taking down all the stickers that they were putting up. And the cops and there were some other guys that joined them and everything. And the cops rolled up on our people, asked us what we were doing. They told them, they said, yeah, a couple of people got arrested over that. Yeah, thank you for what you're doing. Yes, the cop said, thank you for what you're doing, and left.
Oh, hey.
Now, all I had to hear
about that?
All I had to hear was that they got arrested. So I'm making phone calls to the prosecutor's office, to the police. Turns out it was 3 of them. As a matter of fact, I got the video up right now of the Princeton, and the guy who was calling, who calls himself Jacob online. There's we got his real name. He's going to be the first guy identified in this video.
Ooh, we're gonna dox people, yeah.
All
yes,
right,
we are,
some
baby.
white supremacists. Let's do
And
it.
they dox themselves. This is public information. Because if it wasn't for me calling about this situation, asking if some folks got to get arrested, the police wouldn't have put out a statement. The statement would not have gone to other media outlets, and these guys would have just gone unnoticed. But now everybody knows what they were up to. Leah, could you play that video that I just posted?
You do amazing work, Darryl.
And I'm not sure if Leah's in the studio right now. She might step away for a second. Here she comes. She's racing back. Hold on. Here she is. I see her.
She didn't know I was going to do that to her.
Yeah, you caught her off guard real quick. There we go. This is the first ones that showed up.
Oh, they had a woman.
So, what brings you guys here today? Huh? I just saw you put some White Lives Matter stickers up on the wall over there. Oh, let me get past. Let me say hello to some of these sons of bitches over here. So, White Lives Matter stickers, huh? Yeah, you got them. What's up with those things, Absolutely. Man? Oh, let me have one. Oh, what you afraid of, man?
Dino
Petroselli.
Oh, thanks. I'll take it.
Zachar Ivanovic.
What brings y'all here today? Buddy said, don't do that, man. Can't do it.
Try to put it on a bus stop.
What? It's vandalism.
You do vandalism?
It? Yeah, it's vandalism.
This
you
is
can't
public
put
property.
You will not do it.
This is public property.
No, you cannot do it.
This is public property, bro.
You want to try that?
Well, you can get the cops here. It's perfectly fine.
You want to try that? You want to tell the cops what you're doing here? Huh? Oh, I see your friends decide to keep your distance.
Go and you can get some cops here if you want to.
I don't call cops, legal. Man. That's the lucky thing for you. Do not do it, and I'm serious about it.
If you put your hands on me again,
call the cops and I'll tell them what you're doing. Call the cops and explain what the fuck you're doing.
It's perfectly legal.
Go ahead and call the cops.
It's legal.
I'll be more than happy to hear you explain.
It's perfectly legal.
I'll be more than happy to hear you explain a cop that you called to do that.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, this ain't over.
You got what you wanted?
No, I'm not done. I'm not done. As soon as you pack your fucking shit and get out, we good. Where are the other 2 little weasels you had with you?
Are you by yourself here, Darryl?
No.
Okay.
Now, I will say, thank you, Leah. I will say that obviously it's not perfectly legal. In Somerville, they got arrested for doing exactly that. They're getting hit with criminal Claudino Petrucelli, Zachary Ivanovic, as you saw, and there was a third person whose name I can't remember right now. Who, by the way, the guy whose name I can't remember, he got busted a couple of years back on some drunk driving stuff. They're all hit with criminal mischief charges. But Petrucelli got, I guess he wanted to be prepared in case we showed up again, because they got him on pepper spray. They got him on weapons charges. Because you can carry pepper spray, but it has to be 0.75 ounces. This son of a bitch had 12-ounce canister with him. Meanwhile, Ivanovic got hit with I can't remember the exact charge, but it was kind of like hindering apprehension. In other words, trying to make sure that he didn't get arrested for committing the crime of criminal mischief. So he was wearing gloves in order to avoid getting fingerprints on on the signs that he was stickering. So I don't know what's going on with Ivanovic and the other guy who I can't remember right now. Petrucelli had already appeared in court on November 29th. He has another court appearance on January 12th. And I might be there. Who knows? But in any case, that's what's been going on. And of course, everybody knows about Patriot Front doing their thing in DC. All of this is kind of connected, to be honest with you. And by the way, if anybody is going to be keeping an eye on the anti-abortion knuckleheads in the wake of the Supreme Court bullshit and the upcoming right to life marches and stuff, it's going to be huge. And Patriot Front is planning on being out there. I would strongly stress, however, if you do go out to oppose the right to life marches in January, on January 19th, don't just look for Patriot Front. There's more than enough fascists there besides Patriot Front that you do not want to miss, and you want to basically document it if you see them. So that's the real about that. But it has been a busy month since we last saw you, and that's what. But we really wanted to lead off the show with all of this so that everybody knows what's going on. But sadly, we may not be doing this much longer. So
we'll be here.
We'll be, but yeah, let's be mindful of this.
We'll be here in some form.
Revolution Radio will still be here, and I believe. Let's go to that right quick. You're going to have Margaret Kimberly on your show.
Yes.
Yeah, so you want to talk about that?
We do. Quick? So let's. Do we want to start jumping in? Because I think before we get into what's coming up for next year, I think we should look back to what we've done over the last year. And you're right. One of the great interviews that we had was Margaret Kimberly. She was on not too long ago. But Margaret's connected to so much in the world that she's just a great interview when anything happens in Nicaragua, in China, in Cuba, right here in the United States. You know, she's got a great perspective on all that stuff. So I look forward. And here's Margaret when she was on the Idavox Report just a couple of weeks ago, talking about media and how things in the media.
There is still a hold that a lot of these long-standing major media outlets have that we haven't been able to breach yet. Where do you go how do you think we can do that? How do you think, what do you think is on?
There's still monopolies. I mean, and this lack of regulation is horrible. They should be regulated. These media platforms should be regulated as public utilities. Phone companies, phone lines, that's regulated. There's all kinds of regulation that they have managed to escape because they're billionaires and they control everything.
See, that was I love that interview because I love Margaret Kimberly to begin with. She's just like a wealth of information. I mean, she was telling us a whole bunch of stuff that I didn't even know about a group that I'm chasing after right now called the Manhattan Institute. Manhattan Institute, by the way, for those who don't know, they're the ones who are really the ones who are behind the anti-critical race theory campaigns, and they're also behind well, at least one of their senior fellows are behind the bell curve. Their senior fellows authored the bell curve, which is really curious, considering that they're now trying to fight critical race theory. They love themselves some cops. They love themselves some cops. They see the cops as the biggest bulwark against everything they hate, which happens to be us.
what Margaret was talking about with the media being controlled. I mean, we've talked about that quite a lot on the Idavox Report. I mean, and what we've strived to do here on Revolution Radio with all of our shows is, try to foster independent media that comes, from grassroots activists and stuff like that. But it's so difficult in the face of media that's controlled by like 6 corporations, and I think one of the great promises of social media, be it YouTube or Facebook or Twitter or any of them, was that we could, we as grassroots activists could get into the media, but it's still just as challenging because those same forces are now controlling, what goes out over the web and what goes out over YouTube and Facebook and all that kind of stuff. And Daryle, I mean, you've been the guy that tries to get me to turn my frown upside down on the way the media works and insisted that, listen, we can build it. If they put up a roadblock, we got to go around it or under it or whatever. But we've had the challenges right here in the Idavox Report. I was wondering, like, we're after this year of doing a podcast, we've done about 30 of them. Have you gained new perspective on those challenges? Or are you?
I have
burnt out.
I'm still going to sit here and always say that there is no information that can't get out there. I mean, if you have the information and no one else wants to report on it, nothing's stopping you. Not in this day and age. I mean, I can tell you right now, one of the biggest reasons why people have gravitated towards One People's Project and the work that we do is because we were writing about stories that no one else wanted to write about, So when everything went down with Trump and people were trying to figure out who were these characters that they had to deal with, we're the ones with the info. We're the ones telling you who Richard Spencer was because we've been following him since about 2007, and everybody's just hearing about him in 2016, So it's important to remember that I remember on the old show, Politically Incorrect, Bill Maher's old show, Joe Scarborough was on it, and they were talking about this was the day that there was a merger between Time Warner and America Online, AOL. This was that day that they had the show. And Joe Scarborough, and you guys know how I feel about Bill Maher, so I'm not going there right now because I just want to make this point. Joe Scarborough referred to this as the beginning of a decentralization of information. And I loved that. I loved the way he put that because that's exactly what it was. We in the internet age, and I forgot what year that all was, but in the internet age, and remember it was very particularly new still. We were actually decentralizing where you get your information. This had to be in the 90s because Bill Maher lost the show in 2001. And if you're decentralizing the information, you have the people that have control of the information now loses the control and has to keep up. And they can't, And in some areas that they can, and some areas that they can't. There's always going to be somebody that is going to tell the story if they don't. And it is important for us to be the ones to tell that story, because while we're trying to be real about everything that's going on out there, there's a whole bunch of people that are putting their own spins and their own takes on situations. If there is even a situation, as we can see with a lot of conspiracy theorists, fake conspiracy theorists, really, because there is no conspiracy sometimes. As we can see with some of these folks, that, like Alex Jones and stuff, they're just creating shit out of thin air. Yeah. We got to worry about that too. So you know, I want to I want to, by the way, thank y'all for. We're going to talk more about us giving it up for a little while. But I want to just thank y'all for being here on this journey. Yes, Jake, we just mentioned that. You weren't here this morning when we started. Jake, this guy Jake, who just mentioned that Proud Boys were just at Woodbridge City Council.
Oh,
yeah.
Hey, Jake, how you doing, man?
We covered it. Don't worry. And
thank you, Jake.
The next time they show up. Boy,
check for the rebroadcast shortly after on our YouTube channel. You can watch it again. But yes, beginning of the show, Jake, we covered it. We were aware, and man, organize, brother, organize.
But see, that's the kind of news that we're talking about. I don't know if it's going to be a big deal. It's going to be a big deal that the Proud Boys were here there today. I mean, I don't know if they're going to want to show up again after this, especially since we are now going to find out who the hell showed up. I'm also going to want to find out why the Woodbridge City Council just let the one Proud Boy that spoke to remain anonymous for all facts and purposes. I mean, no, that's unacceptable. No way. If I have to identify myself when I go to a city council meeting, they damn sure will. Yeah. So, but back to what I was saying before, I really want to thank you and Brian for being here on this journey. You, Brian, and Leah, and we're hoping to be back. We'll be back. There's a lot of things that are just going on right now, as you can probably tell from tonight. That
people got to donate. Got to donate, people. Got to give to one people's project.
There is the matter of money. There is the matter of money, yes. But basically, we want to try to, reconfigure. And, but the truth of the matter is, hopefully we'll be back by, March, April.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see what's up, because I really do enjoy doing the podcast, but we just got to make sure that we can do it a lot more effectively. I really want to make sure that we're effective in
we've had some like great times and great moments, and one of the things we were off for the last couple weeks, and we came back for this one show, and it gave me a chance to listen back to some episodes that I hadn't listened to in a while, and it's worth doing, and like I said, Revolution Radio is going to be here, Idavox is going to be here, One People's Projects is going to be here. So we're all going to return in some form or another, because we have had a lot of great moments. And I think back to the first show is one of those great moments. I got a couple of clips. I got 2 clips back to back I wanted to show here of Dylan and Lester Chambers where they talk. So let's get back. This is our very first.
Well, we better explain, because for those who are new to the program and don't know who they are, Lester Chambers was a member, is best known as a member of the Chambers Brothers. Time has come today. Time, y'all know the cut. And Dylan Chambers has his own band. That's his son. He has a band called Midnight Transit, and they're based out of California. If you get a chance, check out Midnight Transit. They're a real good band. And they did they do our theme music. The Stand Up and Fight. That's Dylan. Well, on our first show, we asked him to come on and take it away, Brian.
Like I said, before we came on, we was talking about all the roadblocks that certain social networks have put in front of us whenever we're trying to express that, whenever we're trying to convey these messages. And we just talked about it earlier with the age restriction thing over on YouTube. And one of the things that I had pointed out is, One People's Project myself, I have control of 3 websites right now. My thing has always been, if someone's telling you no, we should create more outlets for ourselves to say, well, why not?
I was born in 1940 in Mississippi,
right,
to a family of sharecroppers, and the stories of the KKK coming through, lynching people throughout the neighborhood, of like the atrocities, the inhumane abuse that was done mentally, physically, spiritually, every kind of way that you can imagine, sexually, to the women, to the young girls, in that you can imagine, to our people. And when people think like, oh, your ancestors, what are you talking about ancestors? My dad, okay, my grandma, my direct family went through that stuff, because they, people don't understand what sharecropping is. Okay, they lived essentially as indentured servants on property where they didn't make no money.
We got 1 pair of shoes a year, the Chambers family.
How important is it for you as an artist to address injustice?
It's very important, because people listen to music. And if music has a great story being told at the same time you're listening to it, not only will people dance, they'll hear that lyric, and the understanding becomes easier and more widespread. But when a person just stands up and talk, people have to sit and pay attention. It's easier and more better. People love music. Music will soothe anything, anybody, and it's just so beautiful.
What Lester Chambers just said is the reason why Chuck D is known for saying that hip hop was Black America CNN. That's exactly why Chuck D has said that. I've come out of the music scene, and I'm going somewhere with this, incidentally. I come out of the music scene, particularly. I'm a student of all music, but I'm particularly in this punk hardcore scene, and that's what I always looked for. Even before I was in the scene, I was always looking for the music that said something. Like there was one of my favorite songs growing up. I mean, everybody back when I was growing up had the Shaft album, but everybody only knows that one song about Shaft that Isaac Hayes was singing. But it was a double album, and that record was not in my copy of the Shaft album. I don't know what Dad did with it, but it was not there. But the album that had the record that I had a song in it called Soulville, and as far as I'm concerned, that was one of my favorite songs growing up. It was like, and it would just hit you like a ton of bricks, even when I was like 10-year-old living in the suburbs. All you hear is like, black man born free. At least that's the way it's supposed to be. Chains that bind him are hard to see unless you take this walk with me. I'm like, okay, we're walking then. I'm like, what did I just hear? At 10, I'm listening to this, and it pretty much set me on that trajectory towards wanting to do something, wanting to be a part of the solution. And that, so, and ironically, I wanted to be a journalist. That was my contribution to the solution. I mean, telling the story, telling people why we do the things we do. But I was still a music nut, so I needed to incorporate both. And I'm glad Lester Chambers said that day.
It's good. Yeah, music's important. It was hurtful because you could tell with him and after the interview that when they decided to be more political with their music and with their art, that they actually lost out with the record companies. And for those that want to go back and watch the episode, we played a song that they had performed called "A New Generation." And he said that was the first time anybody had ever played that song on radio, even though we're not radio. But he said the radio never played their music. specifically kept them out. And it was, it was cool to be able to say that, we debuted a Chambers Brothers song for the first time on our show. The song was decades old, but we were the ones that premiered it online.
Incidentally, I did say I was going somewhere with this. But I need to send a shout out to a brother named Mency from Angelic Upstarts, because he was one of those cats that used his music as a sounding board as well. And he also put his money where his mouth is. I mean, he was one of those old anti-racists from back in the day. He was the anti-racist from back in the day. Him and his crew used to go on, used to spend a lot of time just taking on the Nazis out in the UK. Angelic Upstarts is a decidedly anti-fascist band. And I mean, this is the dude who used to beat down Ian from Screwdriver back in the day, And we just have a story on him on Idavox right now. Sadly, we lost him to COVID a couple of days ago. And a lot of people are feeling that pain. And I just want to send my condolences and send my blessings to him and his family, to his family, friends, and everybody that's missing him. I'm damn sure going to miss him. Unfortunately, I was never able to meet him. We lost a lot of good people over the past year. A lot of them that were close to me. Jack Terrycloth from World Infernal Friendship Society. We lost him in May. And now we're dealing with this loss, and it does hit. Yeah. It does hit hard.
Sorry about that, man.
So so much love to everybody. If you never heard of the Angelic Upstarts, just go to YouTube and see what you missed. Seriously, and just big it up every chance you get. Seriously.
Yeah. That clip there, we had the two clips of Dylan and Lester, and I like the juxtaposition talking about where they came from. Of Dylan, talking about, hey, like, these aren't ancestors. This is my dad. This is my grandpa. These are people that I knew that had these experiences. And then the following clip, his father talking about his music and how his music is beautiful and how it moves people. And I don't think, as I get older, and if you're under 40 and you're listening to this or you're with us tonight or whatever, believe me, as you get older, you get a lot sappier and a lot more emotional about shit. And other than looking at my kids, nothing really makes me more emotional than listening to music. We've had a lot of discussions about music on this show. We were all fans of a lot of different kinds of music. And it just impacts, so much of who you are. I mean, people identify as their music. If you're into country music, you like to drive a pickup truck and you have a funny hat. And, if you're into hip hop, there's clothing associated with hip hop. And if you're into metal, you grow your hair long and you get tattoos. So there's so much of a person's identity that goes along with the music that they either listen to or that they make. So, we've had a lot of artists, we've talked about a lot of artists on the show, and I'm grateful to all of them. And, to this day, I love to take in new music. So thanks to Dylan and Lester for providing that great intro music, that great interview. And I look forward to hearing more from Dylan too, man, because that dude can sing, man. He got some pipes on him, man.
I looking forward to meeting him. I mean, I got to go out west to do it right now, but when they fly out over here, I'm going to be right there checking them out. But if I'm out there, I'm definitely going to be looking for them because I really want to just say, hey, I hope Dylan gets a chance to see this too. I don't know if he's on right now, but because he's a regular. He's a regular watching this podcast or listening to this podcast. So much love to y'all. And stand up and fight back.
There he is.
What's up? What's up? Stand Up Fight Back is a clothing company out of Bend, Ohio. I don't know if you're in Bend, Ohio right now anymore. Oregon. Bend, Oregon. And they're responsible for this flag here and this shirt here. Good grief, microphone, move. And tons of other shirts that you can probably find on their website. And if I knew that they were going to be on, I would have made sure that website was available so that we can. But look for Stand Up Fight Back. They got a nice little catalog, if you will, of anti-fascist clothing and masks and just everything that's there to satisfy your anti-fascist needs. And so does One People's Project, by the way. If you guys want to pick up some t-shirts and some beanies that say Antifa across the top, we got some bumper stickers that say hey, there's consequences. We got buttons that look like this. Oh, it's side. There we go, like that, and like this. And actually, this is the design on the t-shirt that we have. But we're also going to have a t-shirt coming up. You can pre-order it. I haven't set it up yet, but we're going to be able to pre-order it. That says intolerance of intolerance is the only intolerance tolerated. It's an old saying that we've been using for about 20 years. And we're going to bring it out as a t-shirt now. So, okay. All right. Enough of that commercial. Our website's on ice for if you'll be back in a few months. That's what Stand Up Fight Back just said. That's okay. They're going to have... hey, Stand Up Fight Back. Shoot me stuff, and I can even just try to sell them on the Idavox website, or rather on the One People's Project website. If you want me to go ahead and do that, but we can talk about that later. Just hit me up, dlj1peoplesproject.com, and obviously I don't care if y'all have that email address. So okay, so all right. We're rambling. Brian, what else you got?
Oh boy, man. All right, so now we had some of our guests, but we're really awesome and brilliant people as well. And so, we've made a few comments, and I've got this one from Christian as he reflects on the legacy of Rudy Giuliani. Which
Giuliani would still be getting accolades if he'd have just kept his mouth shut. If Giuliani hadn't buddied up with Trump, they'd still be treating him like he's America's mayor. But because he couldn't shut the hell up, now everybody sees how big of an idiot he was. But he was a Republican, and the city loved the guy.
Yeah.
That was.
I stand by that statement. I stand by that statement.
You were right. You should stand by it.
He just couldn't shut the hell up, man. All you had to do was shut up.
Yeah, just don't talk, man. Stop talking. You could have said nothing.
Much love to Ash up in New York. He's a journalist up in New York that we invited on the show that day. That's who you saw in that clip. He's really powerful, and we talked to him about the Manhattan Institute too. Actually, he brought up the Manhattan Institute because he knew that they were fucked up. But we also did a show about Giuliani, and because we wanted to just show just how much of a scumbag he was, and I was using the old documentary Giuliani Time as some source material, and we just had to eat him alive because I think we just needed to remind folks that we had a really piece of shit bigoted mayor for a good long while. And, honestly, I always try to tell people this, that New York City in the 90s, even in the 80s and 90s, from Koch all the way up to Giuliani at the very least, was basically an alt-right petri dish. It really was. I mean, everything that we have a problem with concerning the alt-right, so-called alt-right, really got its formation from what New York City was doing. They realized that the bigotry that everybody would apply to the South was kicking ass in a different form in the Northeast.
Oh, yeah.
Especially in New York City. I mean, come on. There was this racist scumbag talk shit host by the name of Bob Grant that said that used to let white supremacists leave their contact information over his airways, which is on 77 WABC. You used to have he used to basically call Martin Luther King a scumbag. He said that Jared Taylor's book was successful because of him. This is the kind of thing that we was dealing with. And of course, the New York Post was insane. So I don't even want to discuss how bad they were. So, and still are. So, but we've had a lot of topics. I mean, we've only been on for about a year now. We've really been on for about a year.
30-something shows though. We did a lot of shows.
Yeah, but we're not just talking about the Idavox Report as we know it now. we got started as a segment on Revolution Radio. So
Revolution Radio, yeah, sure, man.
So
it's been fun. We cover a lot of stuff, and that you talking about like the radio and the impact of radio and why podcasting I think is a great medium. I absolutely love the podcasting. I know we do a live stream and we get a lot more listens than we get views, and I've always been comfortable with that because it's just there's a creative freedom that goes with radio. And that can be used for both good and evil purposes. And when I think about, and I've talked about like my past where I was more of a right-wing guy. Like when I was a kid, I joined the military. I was nationalistic. And
same here.
My dad was a union guy. Where did I get that shit put in my head? I'll tell you where, when I turned about 16 and a half and I got my permit and I started driving a car. And then I got my driver's license and I started driving a car and I was listening to 770 WABC with Rush Limbaugh, Bob Grant, and these right-wing talk show hosts who were quite frankly filling my young head full of shit. And it took me years of, thank God I fell in with the right people and got a better political education later in life. But they I know firsthand the impact that, radio had on people and what you're talking about there with, with Giuliani and his association with all these different right-wing elements was huge in an area of our country where like 20 million people can listen to these radio stations. It's a gigantic, it's not just New York City, but it's, all the surrounding into Jersey and everything like that. It hits a lot of people, has a major impact. And
all over the country.
I hope that, as we grow, our podcast and our networks and stuff, that we can start to have a bigger impact, because I think podcasting is one of those mediums it's here to stay. It may be trendy and stuff, but I think, this is radio. This is the modern version of radio. And it's if we have our platforms, then we can at least combat theirs.
Yeah, truly. And is there any? So you have more? Oh no, Christian, you had something?
No. Go ahead.
Okay. No, I was going to say, Brian, you had other clips too, don't you?
I have one last clip. And it of course, and it's the one I wanted to end with because it is of course our star of the show. You talking about getting a global network together, and let's watch it first. Let's see here. Man, like you can't sit here and be an activist and be involved in the struggles here in America and listen to an interview with her or with people in Europe and not draw parallels.
But Christian was telling us that after we talked after the interview, and we said we got to start building that global network, and we're going to do that. It can start with us. One People's Project and Revolution Radio. It can start with us. We have the wherewithal. We have the desire to do so. So I'm just telling everybody right now. I've done and we're just telling people who can who hear me. Listen, let's just start talking. Let's start trying to talk to everybody about what you're dealing with out there where you live. I don't give a damn whether or not we can speak English or not. The truth of the matter is hate comes in many languages, but there's only one that they don't like: the language of information.
All right. I want everybody simultaneously to grab your fist, shake it at the sky, and scream out, COVID!
No. Let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you something. COVID probably brought us together more than it didn't, to be honest. I wish we could all be out there, meeting everybody face to face, but sadly, it is what it is. Well, I want to point out in regards to doing that global network, we're all working on that. We're all trying to maintain. We're all trying to make sure that we have a network of people that are going to basically confront what we're seeing. The fascia networking globally. You think about it. I keep going to this American Renaissance Conference down in Tennessee. And it's always featuring some folks from overseas coming out to talk to our fascists here. We got to talk to our anti-fascists in those countries they're coming from to try to keep them there, number one. But number two, find out what else they need. We did have folks. I mean, one of the things, I don't know if you don't have this clip with us right now, but we got to send love to our people from, the folks who are helping out the Roma back in Croatia, I believe it is. And I mean, I loved having her on the show, and if we bring the show back, we're going to be doing more of that. I want to talk about, however, since we are going to talk about that global network and try to unite, there is something called World Against Racism on March 20th, which people are calling it's UN Anti-Racism Day, and they're calling for everyone to be united against all forms of racism, Islamophobia, anti-Semitism, and they want people to put together events and around the world in your locality, and we're going to be doing that on March 20th. It's probably going to be a memorial to Mency, but I do know that we're going to be putting together something. Hopefully it'll be a benefit for One People's Project. That's what we're looking for. But we're going to do something on March 20th or that weekend or what have you. So look out for that. If people want to know more about World Against Racism, you can go to worldagainstracism.org. That's worldagainstracism.org. And if you could put together an event to coincide with that day, let us know. We'll put it on our public calendar on Idavox and OPP, because we really want to big this up. We want to big this up huge. So and that's and so it's not like One People's Project. It's not like Idavox is going away. A lot of people were worried that I was discontinuing the entire website altogether. And the answer is no, that's not what we're doing. We're just taking a
hiatus. It's called a hiatus.
Taking a hiatus to just reconfigure.
It's the off season.
And hopefully,
season break.
Yeah, and hopefully it won't be too extended, as I've been trying to point out. So, because I love working with Brian and Christian, and there's also others that we want to see on the show. I mean, we were trying to get Not-for-Profit on this show from Reconstruction a couple of weeks ago. I am not going to forget him. I really think that if you never heard of Reconstruction, if you never heard of X-Vandals, if you never heard of Not-for-Profit, again, go to YouTube and check him out. X-Vandals was his hip-hop crew. And he has new stuff now. So there's a lot that we want to do. There's a lot that we want to do, but we want to do it effectively. So hopefully you'll see us again. Sure. Hopefully you'll see us again. If not, you'll see Revolution Radio. They're going to be kicking it regardless of what not we show up against. So it's not like you're going to not see Brian and Christian in this medium.
Well, we're gonna see you too. I mean, we got stuff to do. Let me ask you this, because we when you were talking about this, the global connecting and stuff, we've talked about, both on the air and personally, about like a conference. And lefties we always kind of kick around ideas and projects and stuff, and we do about like 2% of them. But we always, but I always like that idea of getting together, and I think that's what I referred to when I said like COVID has really screwed up our plans for organizing. Yeah, and honestly, we were I mean, we were on our way to doing a live show in Boston. We did one live show back in Jersey, and then the Delta wave hit, and it kind of was like, hey, we're going to plan events now. We're starting to get back out. We're having the Dumpster Fire premiere in Boston, is coming up on Friday that you talked about earlier in the show. But I mean,
go on. I'm sorry.
Is it time for you to start organizing in-person events again? I mean, honestly, look, Maine right now is suffering the worst of the COVID outbreak since it started in 2 years.
This is the crazy thing about the whole thing on the 20th. I want to put together this is really just off. We just started discussing it today, some of us, and we think we can do a show on the 20th. We're just gonna have to really walk on eggshells when it comes to that, because we don't know what it's going to look like in March. Hopefully we'll be able to do this, but we want to do something. And as for other events, because they are holding events and things like that, it's just a matter of being careful.
Yeah. I think he's working on his sound.
Okay, yeah. I thought
I'm screwing around with knobs over here. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. I thought you was getting ready to say something. But what I would say to that is that they are having shows right now. They are doing events right now. So we think it's a safe enough time where we can at least start putting something together. I do not believe, however, that we're not prepared to do a full-on conference yet. Yeah. But hopefully that'll change. And if it will change, we're not going to do it in 22. We're going to do it in 23 or 24.
Yeah.
And just so we can make sure that we're pretty much in the clear. I mean, this new variant, the Omicron or whatever the hell they call it.
Omicron,
they consider it to be relatively mild. Now that can change, obviously, but right now they consider it to be relatively mild, and that's a good sign.
We need our comrades to go out there, and unfortunately, it's been divisive on the left. It's not a right-left thing. I've been adamant about it. I've been telling people, listen to your doctor. Go get vaccinated. Or if you have a question about getting vaccinated, go to your doctor and talk to your doctor about your concerns. Don't go to YouTube, and don't listen to Jimmy Dore either.
Don't get your medical advice off of TikTok.
Don't get your medical advice from TikTok. Yeah, I mean, come on, man. Like,
Joe Rogan don't
and this
know
is
shit.
Joe Rogan.
Oh wait, I
don't know
didn't
shit.
tell you
None
what
of them
happened
know
to me.
shit.
I didn't tell you my TikTok experience. I got run off
There we
of TikTok by a bunch of Karens, by a bunch of anti-vax Karens. I got to go back on because I want them to know that they didn't run me off. And I told her, I said, now that I got your picture and your handle, I'm going to use it in my next presentation to make some money. I hope she feels good about that. But yeah, I got attacked by a bunch of QAnon Karens. It was ridiculous because I was making fun of them because they think that, the pedophiles are behind every corner and they're going to come and they're going to steal everybody. Nonsense. It was like just a total Karen meltdown.
They're so worried about pedophiles. Why don't they thin their herd? Because that's where we keep finding them.
That's where we keep finding them. Exactly. It's
COVID's been a disease of our public psychiatric health as well as lung health. I mean, honestly, it's as much. And I had a conversation with a good friend of mine the other night, and I love him. Pat's out there. I know he listens, and he's more concerned about it than I am. He lends a lot more credence to these that the pharmaceutical companies are evil, and they are evil. Like, honestly, like I look at the Sackler family now and what they got away with. I mean, there's definitely arguments, but I think both the left and the right have drawn this argument to such extremes. Vaccines were no big fucking deal until this happened. You just went like, I mean, you got your kids vaccinated. You got vaccinated. No big deal.
We did have anti-vaxxers out there before all of this. They just
before COVID. Yeah, we did an anti-vax show a year before COVID. A year before COVID, we did an anti-vax show.
But normal people didn't have an opinion. Normal, everyday, run-of-the-mill people didn't have an opinion. There were extremists on that side. They were more well-organized than I gave them credit for. I think anybody gave them credit for. But I think nowadays, everybody's got an opinion, and it's hard left or hard right.
All you got to do is repeat the lie, and people will start to take on the lie. It only takes 10% of a group to influence the rest of the thinking. So if enough people keep repeating the lie, and we hear it in enough different places, in our yoga group, from your police officers, from whatever the heck it is, that's all it takes to change people's minds. You only need to hear it a few times, and that's it's just this message of misinformation.
I will say this, however, because I'm not giving any credence to these anti-vaxxers that are saying that you need to drink bleach or whatever the hell, that kind of nonsense. I'm giving them too much credence. But having said that, we do have to recognize who we are, in fact, giving credence to. We are still dealing with big pharma. Big pharma don't do anything without big money. There is a fear that and it's a very legitimate fear that we are allowing certain elements out there, perhaps in big pharma, that are going to exploit the situation.
Absolutely.
Yes, we do have to stay safe. Yes, we do have to wear a mask when it's good to wear a mask, period. It's good to wear just social distance if you can. It's good to make sure that you're vaccinated and you get your booster. I got my booster coming on the 23rd. But it's also good to make sure that you got all the facts. Okay. It's good. And sometimes the facts aren't going to come from our usual sources, as we were talking about before. So we do have to be mindful that we cannot allow individuals or cannot allow entities to take advantage of the situation just to make money and just keep on scaring us for their profit. I mean, I hate sounding like the anti-vaxxers. I hate sounding like that crowd, but they are right in this regard. They're just wrong about what they're talking about.
Yeah, that's typical conspiracy theorists. They take yes, I mean the medical history in this country is corrupt. The pharmaceutical industry is corrupt, which is why nobody believes them when they say that they're acting for the benefit of everyone with these vaccines. I mean, that's I've always said, like with conspiracy theories, they take a kernel of truth, but then they wrap all the lies about that. They're capitalizing on this very real, crooked, pharmaceutical industry. They're out to make profit. Like we know that. I mean, it's like, just if I could just finish this thought. I mean, with them, they're just anti-vax. With us, we have to articulate our position, which is, yes, I understand these industries are corrupt. However, in this instance, the vaccine is good. All they have to say is medical industry bad, pharmaceutical industry bad, and it's just their message is easier and it's simpler, and that's the reality of it.
And I think what you're saying, and I'd like to give like a case in point, I think, as to what you're talking about. And they exaggerate and they lie. And this is the thing, you get into I don't get in Facebook arguments much anymore because I've worked on my own mental health, and that's been a result. But I did get into a little bit, and somebody said, I know 8 people that have killed themselves in the last 6 months because of this. And now, first off, they don't know anybody that's killed themselves in the last 6 months. I know they're lying. I know they're making that up. But they've latched onto this media narrative, which is true. Nobody saw the mental health effects of COVID more than me and my family. Okay. I lost my job. I lost my house. My family was cut out of school. I mean, there is all kinds of things that happened to me during COVID. I know, believe me, I was a mental wreck about a year ago when I came up here to Maine, and I'm way healthier now. Thanks to you, Daryle. And thanks to Revolution Radio. But, look, so the mental health effects are real. And I saw them in my own kids in not being able to go to school and, see their friends and stuff. But what they'll do is they'll take that very real fear, rather than having a discussion about masking your kids and returning them safely to school vaccinated. They want to lie and make this claim that they know 12 people that have killed themselves. Or we had one woman in front of a speech in Trenton claim that she had helped 30 residents of a local nursing home off the street as they were dying of thirst in the middle of the street. And so when you're looking at the anti-vaxxers, they're hearing these media narratives and they're creating just lies in their own mind about their own story to promulgate it. And that's what's happening. And the worst part about that is there's a real discussion there to be had about our mental health as a country over the last couple of years. There's a real discussion to be had about how we educate our children safely. There's a real discussion. You can't have it with somebody who's going to manipulate to the point of these drastic lies and exaggerations. And I will say, I'll wrap up on this, Jamel Holly in New Jersey, who the Democratic Party continues to give awards and praise to and never stand up once, as one of the primary offenders in that state. And the Democratic Party continues to let Jamel Holly kill innocent people for his own fame. And I'm disgusted by everybody in the Democratic Party because none of you are standing up to him. None of you. None of you.
To be fair, I don't know who Jamel Holly is. You have to.
He's a state assemblyman. He's a Democrat out of Roselle. He was caught forging ballots a few years ago, and that con didn't work out. But he got into the assembly. Now he's conning people as an anti-vaxxer, and the Democratic Party's known it for years. And they think he gets awards. He just got an NAACP Trailblazer Award. He got an award. He's an anti-vaxxer.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna check him out. Then once you start saying things like that, then I got definitely check it out. So, all right. I said we were going to go long. I don't think we can go longer. Because I got to find out more about this whole Proud Boy thing in Woodbridge.
Yes.
We're going to be writing up about it, and I'm going to be talking with some people in that regard. But I want y'all to stay on. Normally we end with just me. Brian, Christian, this is the last show. Y'all gotta stick around and you gotta say peace with me. All right. So,
well, I got a last minute. I wanted to hear Christian wrap some stuff up. You can't. You guys save the best for last. You gotta let Christian and me do our little thing.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, okay. I got stuff that I want that I just want to say. Like I said, Brian or Christian, do you have anything to say before we call it?
Yeah. Sure. Hit me up on Twitter. Find me at Perez Podcast. I'm coming back to TikTok very soon. I'm coming after all the Karens, all the Q-Berts, all the conspiracy theorists. I got all the view. I got all the screenshots. I got all the names. And if I get kicked off of Twitter, I'll create another. If I get kicked off of TikTok, I'll create another TikTok account. I'll go straight to YouTube. I got you all on lock. I got all of you. That being said, hit me up online. I guess I'm going to have to release a couple more videos because I'm not getting my fix here anymore. But thank you to Daryle. This has been a lot of fun. This has been a great project, and I hope we get back to it soon. Please donate to Idavox, donate to One People's Project, donate to Revolution Radio.
Yeah.
Brian, do you have anything?
So we've known each other for a couple of years now, and we've done different businesses together. We've staged events, we've promoted movies, we've done podcasts, we've written articles, we've bugged school board meetings, we've done all kinds of stuff. And so this is just, we're going to take a little hiatus, but this isn't by far the last time you're going to be on Revolution Radio, and I don't think it's going to be the last Idavox Report. For those of you listening stuff, we need some help, and if you're interested in helping out, volunteering, donating, of course, is hugely important. But there's a contact us box on all our websites. So fill one of those contact us forms or send me an email at info@njrevolutionradio.com if you want to help, because I'll be organizing over the break. Revolution Radio will continue. We're not done yet, even for the year. I've got 2 more shows before I break for the holidays. On Thursday, I am going to interview Margaret Kimberly. And as some of you may know, my internet connection is not always great. So if it's good as it is tonight and you can see and hear me clearly, we will live stream that interview. If not, I will record it, cut out all the parts where I go, and then it'll sound a lot better. So so I hope you join us. And next Tuesday, 1 week from tonight, you will see the interview, which I already recorded and edited, with Allie Henny, who is a minister, a speaker, a writer, a podcaster, all kinds of stuff. She's a big fan of our editorial board. And that's the last thing I'll end on is, as Revolution Radio gets ready for 2022, we're ready to produce some new media. I'm ready to do a different podcast or a new podcast, or maybe write some articles, or maybe do some real reporting, which is really kind of what I've always wanted to move more into at Revolution Radio, which is actually do some real story reporting. We're not just picking up off of other news media and discussing it, which is the majority of what we've done with Revolution Radio. Idavox does its own reporting, and I'd love to see some more of that from Revolution Radio in the coming year. I need your support, so check out our website. Join our editorial board. That Allie Henny interview came about because one of our editorial board members was a huge fan of hers and recommended we reach out to her. We did, and we got the interview. So, you too can join our editorial board, and maybe we can interview somebody you admire. So that's that. Daryle, we'll be back. I mean, whatever. Idavox Report, you'll be a guest on something. I'm not going to stop producing media. I'm not going to stop doing podcasts. I love doing it. It's fun, and being in the middle of nowhere, it's what I got as far as being in an activism world again. So that's it, man. I'll see you. I'm not saying goodbye. I'll just see you in the next one. That's all.
Yeah, we're not saying goodbye. I mean, come on, we work together too well. I mean, Christian, it was great meeting you while doing this.
Daryle, it's been a lot of fun.
It was great having you in the office. I mean,
let's hit up a show. I know you don't really drink, but let's go to a bar and I'll drink, and let's just meet up. and hit up a show or something like that, or even if it's just hanging out and listening to music, man. Let's just do something like that.
There's some shows coming up. I mean, there's some things that are happening. I'll be around. I have to tell friends of mine around it. I generally don't hang out because I'm just too tired. But when shit like this, like what's going on tonight happens, you just know I'm over here, I'm over there. Yeah. And I only have really like 4 hours sleep generally, but it's kind of like, yo, I'm down. I want to be
all right. Good.
Let's do it out there a little bit more. And y'all can find me at Twitter, at D Lamont Jenkins. Idavox can be at Idavox OPP. One People's Project is at One People's PROJ. Obviously, you can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Facebook. And of course, I should have just led with this because these are the most important links you must have. You got to go to idavox.com. You got to go to onepeoplesproject.com. And you're also going to find me on 2020 The Dumpster Fire. There's some other projects that are going to be coming down the pike involving me. There's a mini series that's supposed to be about me. There's going to be another documentary about me that's being put together by some students in Villanova.
All right.
So we got, and we've been filming that for a couple of months now. So yeah. And then after that, I'm done with the media documentaries and movies and things like that because I got work to do. Seriously. I mean, it's not real. I do all of this because it's not so much about me. It's just about getting the word out, getting the things out. Because remember, I had to deal with fighting fascism in the 90s where all they did was cover Nazis. They would not talk to the people that are fighting Nazis unless they were part of the B-roll. Since 2016, anti-fascists have been trying to offset that. And I'm just like in the front of the line. That's the only reason why people know me, because I just throw myself in the middle of all of it when they ask, are there any Antifa that wants to talk? And I said, yeah, I'll talk. I mean, look, I'm 53 years old. I mean, what are they going to do to me? I mean, the work that I have done it's too late to stop me. I've already kicked your ass. I'm just reveling in it now. Okay, I'm talking about the fash there. So you can just talk. They can just talk all kinds of shit on Twitter and on Facebook or wherever their mediums are. I've already kicked your ass. So we're but like we said, this is going to be the last show for now. Hopefully we'll come back, and we'll come back soon. I mean, I still have to say I cannot promise things because there may be something that comes down the pike that I have to focus attention to. So that we have to focus attention on. But like Brian said, I'll be on Revolution Radio again. I will be working with Brian and Christian in the near future in some form, in some medium. So it's not like we are going away for good. And hopefully we introduced you on this show to a bunch of people that you want to know that Brian and Christian will bring on again. I want to send much love to everybody that has been on this show, that has augmented it significantly, and really we could not do it without them. We could not do it without y'all who are watching this podcast, and we know we will be doing it again. So God bless each and every one of y'all. I hope you have really good holiday season. I hope you have a really good 2022. I hope you have good lives, because ultimately that's what we're fighting for, good lives. At the end of the day, remember what you're fighting for. Remember that no matter how hardcore it gets out there in that struggle, remember you're struggling and you're fighting. Just remember to enjoy that which you are fighting for. Just take a moment to enjoy that music, enjoy those superhero movies. That's just me. Enjoy your families. That's Brian. Enjoy your holiday. That's Christian with his Christmas tree in the background. But I've enjoyed this. Enjoyed this journey. Hope I'll be back on it soon, Brian. I hope we all going to be back on it soon. But we got to give it a rest. We got to chill, and that's it, y'all. So one more time. Until the next time, y'all. Peace.